YouTube, what is up? So it's been 11 months since Apple released the iPhone 15 Pro.
Good morning.
And next month they'll be announcing the 16 and the 16 Pro. So I thought this would be a good time to kind of give my final thoughts on the 15 Pro, and then we can even talk a little bit about, what might be coming to the 16 Pro. Before we start talking about all that, let's talk about subbing to my channel. I sure would appreciate it, and smash that like button. And what do you say? Let's get into it. So last year in September, when Apple released the iPhone 15 Pros, I got my iPhone 15 Pro on launch day. Been using it, every day since. All in all, it's an iPhone. It works. Now, one of the changes that they did with the 15 going from the 14 was the stainless steel on the 14 Pros went to titanium for the 15 Pros. To me, there's a lot of benefits when they switched it to the titanium. One, I don't know if it was just the thickness of the stainless steel compared to the titanium.
What does that mean?
What happened is the width and the length, shrunk just ever so slightly. It was a little bit thicker than the previous 14 Pros. I would definitely trade to have a little bit of a thick phone for a better battery. The major bonus was the weight. 14 Pros and the 14 Pro Maxes, those things are heavy. And when they switched to this titanium frame, I want to say it was 18 to 20% lighter. Very, very noticeable. Now the screen sizes remain the same, 6.1 for the Pros and 6.7 for the Maxes. Same OLED screen. Now they, of course, Apple new phone, Apple new chip. Bigger, better. Well, I can't say bigger. They get smaller. For whatever reason, the smaller they make them, the more efficient they become. There was all gains in, performance and battery and this, that, and the other. As using your phone day to day, I didn't notice any changes. And they also, threw in some gaming specs, bumped it up, for ray tracing and all this other cool stuff. I'm not the biggest gamer when it comes to being on my phone, other than, maybe like solitaire or, something like that. But if I'm gonna game, I'm gonna get on my PlayStation and play PlayStation. And going over the camera, 48 megapixels still, a new, better portrait mode for selfies. The cameras work great, I don't have problems. There's some low light situations to where it might come out a little grainy. They look good. I'm not a pixel peeper. I've enjoyed the cameras on this thing. Now, one of the better additions that they added to the 15 Pros from the 14 Pros was the action button. The action button, you can map it to your camera, to a flashlight, to, shortcuts, all kinds of stuff. What I originally had it was my camera, and that was cool. I was like, I really could use a magnifier because I was always stumbling around looking for my eyes aren't that great. So I have my iPhone just mapped to, the magnifier, and pop, there it is, magnifier. And another thing that they did was they got rid of Lightning. They now have a USB Type-C to charge your phone. I'm digging it. I've got USB just about, everything else. You can plug in a flash drive, SSD into this and record straight video onto it. And of course, come back around to the battery. Now, when the iPhones first came out, there was a overheating issue with certain apps. I believe it was like Instagram or something like that. I personally didn't have that issue, and I think it's because I don't use Instagram.
What the hell you say?
They did a patch, and no one's really talked too much about it. There's times that it gets hot, nothing too super hot. Of course, if you're out on a hot day, it's gonna get a little bit warmer. As far as like day to day, I've charged it generally, even on just any type of regular day, even semi-Hemi.
This thing's a Hemi!
I don't know Hemis around here. I don't do Dodge. Been this thing about battery health, and my battery health, for 11 months, it's at 97%, which is pretty good. I think it has a lot to do with the cycle count. On Twitter, you might have seen, people, oh, I got it, 89%, but their cycle count's like 500. Using this as my daily, charging it at night and then charging it in, the day, 256 cycles. I don't know what it is that they're doing.
What the?
When they're talking about battery health, that's something to keep into consideration. Going from the 14 Pro, yeah, the battery health was trash on the 14 Pros. I dig the 15 Pro. Would I recommend, like say if you're going from 14 Pro to a 15 Pro? Usually generation, from one to another is usually not that big of a deal. But, with the USB Type-C, if that's a thing for you, something a little bit lighter, got all the same features.
Yeah, I think I still want it though, so give it to me.
But at this particular point in time, I wouldn't do it. Next month, they're gonna be announcing
Good morning.
the 16 and the 16 Pros. And the rumors going around the screen size being a little bit bigger. The 16 Pros are going to be a 6.3 inch screen. The Pro Maxes, 6.9. That's a big phone. They're gonna accomplish this in two different ways. Shrinking the bezels, like they're really thinning it out. It's supposed to be the thinnest bezel in any smartphone. The second thing they're gonna do is I think they're making it a little bit bigger again. I'll be curious to see if it's going to be the same sizes as like the 14 Pro and Pro Max. Jump back up, just that little bit. They're adding another button. This thing's gonna be filled with buttons. It's supposed to be a capture button. It's supposed to be somewhat pressure sensitive. If you bring up your camera, move your finger across it lightly, to the left and to the right, zoom in, zoom out, and then, push it a little bit and it'll focus in, and then again, and it'll take the picture. Sounds really
Cool.
I'm gonna be getting the 16 Pro Max, so sub to the channel so you can check that out. I'll do a little unboxing, talk about it, give thoughts about it. Of course, all the accessories, I've already got some case companies lined up that are gonna be sending me, 16 Pro Max cases. And of course, we'll see what, accessories are gonna be coming out. You got Qi 2 that's starting to happen. And I also think too that the 16 Pros I think they might be upping the watts instead of 15 watts. Maybe it'll be 20 watts wireless charging, and then 30, 50 watts plugged in charging. Who knows? I know who knows. Tim knows. And remember, any rumors that you see, they're all rumors until Uncle Tim says different. Guys, thanks for stopping by. Peace and love.